Oh baby, we are back. Welcome to another show from Real Estate Exam Ninja. My name is Chris. Looking forward to helping you guys pass your real estate exam. This episode, it's a little bit different than some of the other videos I've made where I've formulated these practice questions. In this episode, we're actually going to be using some real estate questions, real estate exam questions that were on prior exams. Chris, how is this possible? Well, if you remember, some of you guys are on the mailing list. If you remember about 2 months ago, I emailed you guys asking you, hey, if you can remember, please tell me one question that was on your real estate exam, just so I can make sure that my content that we're putting out is either exactly like the real estate exam or it's very similar. That's what we're shooting for, obviously. And so I got a response back with about 150 questions that people said, okay, this question was actually on my real estate exam. It's not just hypothetically, it might be on your exam. These were actually on the exam. So in this episode, we're going to, I'm not going to post all of them right now in this video. I'm going to post more in other videos. But in this video, we're going to do 20 questions, and 5 of those questions were actually on the real estate exam. So looking forward to sharing this with you. If you are getting value from this video, like, comment. If you think I suck, tell me I suck and how I can improve. I'm just trying to help you guys. And so just let me know. Let me know what you want to see, what kind of content you want, and I can try to make more of it. I hope you guys have a good day. Enjoy the questions. See you soon.
Number 1. Which type of insurance is used to insure against rent being stolen by an employee of a property management company? A. Rent loss insurance. B. Surety bond. C. Business interruption insurance. D. Liability insurance. The correct answer is B. A surety bond insures against employee misdeeds like theft. Number 2. Which of the following is not a typical way that property management fees are set? A. Fixed fee. B. Commission on new leases. C. Percentage of gross income. D. Percentage of operating costs. The correct answer is D. Did the not in the question throw you off? A good way to handle this question is to repeat each answer in a positive way and ask yourself whether it's true or false. For instance, you say, fixed fees are a way to set a property management fee. True or false? Well, that's true, so it can't be the right answer. Percentage of operating costs is the only answer that doesn't fit.
Did you like? Did you subscribe? Do it now.
Number 3. For what activity does a person generally not need a real estate license? A. Collecting rents as an employee of a building owner. B. Representing people in the exchange of properties. C. Selling properties on behalf of several owners. D. Negotiating leases on behalf of several commercial building owners. The correct answer is A. Real estate license laws generally require a person to hold a real estate license when performing any number of particular duties for another person for a fee. You don't have to have a real estate license to do any of these things for your own property. An employee of a person who owns and rents out buildings is effectively acting directly on behalf of the owner, as if, in a sense, the employee were the owner. This could vary slightly by state, so check yours out just in case. Number 4. Roof replacement is considered what type of expense in a building's budget? A. Capital. B. Operating. C. Maintenance. D. Fixed. The correct answer is A. A capital expense is usually a major expense to improve or repair something that does not last as long as the life of a building, like a roof. An operating expense is an annual expense to keep the building running, like the gas or oil bill. A maintenance item is usually a repair that may happen occasionally and sometimes unpredictably, like a furnace repair. A fixed expense is a term used to describe insurance and tax payments. Number 5. Which of the following is true for an independent contractor working for a broker? A. The broker is required to pay the contractor's Social Security taxes. B. The broker is required to withhold income taxes from the contractor's commission checks. C. The broker must give workman's compensation to the contractor. D. The broker is required to supervise the contractor. The correct answer is D. The first three answers are characteristics of being an employee, not an independent contractor. However, even when you're an independent contractor, the broker is responsible for your work and must supervise you. Number 6. The primary duty of a property manager is to A. Ensure that income is generated by the building. B. Maintain the building. C. Protect the owner's investment in the building. D. Maximize income while maintaining the building's value. The correct answer is D. The keys to this question are the word primary and avoiding confusion when partially correct answers are among the choices. Maximizing income while maintaining the building's value encompasses the first three answers and is considered the primary duty of a property manager. Looked at another way, the first three answers are each a part of the more correct total answer D. Number 7. A real estate broker hired to represent someone who wants to sell his house is A. A special agent. B. A general agent. C. A universal agent. D. A representative agent. The correct answer is A. A special agent represents a client for one real estate transaction. A general agent represents a client in a range of activities, and a universal agent represents a client in all or almost all activities. Representative agent is a made-up answer. Number 8. Fiduciary responsibilities are always owed to A. The client. B. The customer. C. The buyer. D. The seller. The correct answer is A. Fiduciary responsibilities are defined as being owed to the client. A seller or a buyer can be your client. A customer is the third party in a transaction. The only that is always true in this question is answer A. The client. Number 9. Fiduciary duties do not include A. Care. B. Control. C. Accounting. D. Confidentiality. The correct answer is B. The duties are accounting, care, confidentiality, disclosure, loyalty, and obedience. Number 10. The client is always A. The seller. B. The buyer. C. The principal. D. The customer. The correct answer is C. Watch out for the word always. The buyer or seller could be the client, but not always. The principal is always the client. The two terms are interchangeable. Number 11. Which of the following would not end an agency relationship? A. The property was sold. B. The house was burned in a fire. C. The principal got married. D. The broker declared bankruptcy. The correct answer is C. If an individual property owner contracts with a real estate agent to sell his property, that arrangement isn't affected by his getting married because the property ownership hasn't changed. Number 12. When does a seller's agent earn a fee? A. She accomplishes what she was hired to do. B. She is the procuring cause. C. She finds a ready, willing, and able buyer. D. All of the above. The correct answer is D. The first three choices all are essentially the same thing. Number 13. A homeowner refuses to sell his home to a family because of its race. The homeowner claims that because this is an owner-occupied home, he is exempt from all fair housing laws. The owner has violated A. The 1968 Fair Housing Act. B. The 1968 Fair Housing Act as amended in 1988. C. The 1866 Civil Rights Act. D. No law. He is correct. The correct answer is C. There are no exemptions for race to the 1866 law. Number 14. A person who owns a 15-unit apartment building has established different security deposit amounts for different tenants based on their ethnic group and whether or not they have children. He has 10 years of statistical research to back up the validity of this approach. Which of the following is true? A. What he is doing is illegal. B. What he is doing is legal under any circumstances. C. What he is doing would be illegal if he didn't have the factual research to back it up. D. What he is doing would be legal only if the owner himself lives in the building. The correct answer is A. Changing the terms of rentals for any group in a protected class is illegal, no matter how many supporting facts one may have. Number 15. A real estate agent attempts to generate listings by contacting people in a particular neighborhood and suggesting to them that their property values might be going down soon because a particular immigrant group is coming into the neighborhood. This practice is called A. Soliciting. B. Farming. C. Prospecting. D. Blockbusting. The correct answer is D. Blockbusting is the deliberate attempt to generate profits by scaring people into selling their houses under the circumstances stated in the question. The other answers are all legitimate ways to get listings of houses to sell, provided blockbusting isn't used. Number 16. A church group decides to build housing for its members only. The church does not permit African Americans to join its congregation. Which of the following is true? A. The housing can be restricted to members of the church. B. The housing cannot be restricted to members of the church. C. The housing can be restricted as long as they do not advertise or use a real estate agent. D. The housing could be restricted if the prohibition for joining the church was not against African Americans, but against some other racial or ethnic group. The correct answer is B. The church housing exception, which is part of the 1986 Fair Housing Law, applies only if membership in the church or religion itself isn't restricted. Because the church in question discriminates in its membership policies against African Americans, the housing exception does not apply, therefore, the housing can't be restricted to only church members. Number 17. Complaints under the Civil Rights Act of 1866 are handled by A. HUD. B. Federal courts. C. State courts. D. State Human Rights Commissions. The correct answer is B. HUD enforces the 1968 Fair Housing Act, but the federal courts enforce the 1866 law. Number 18. A homeowner gives a listing to the real estate broker to sell his one-family house with the warning that he does not want to sell to non-Christians. What should the broker do? A. Take the listing but ignore the homeowner's wishes. B. Take the listing and follow the homeowner's wishes because of the owner occupancy exception. C. Explain to the homeowner that he's violating the federal fair housing laws and refuse the listing unless he removes the request. D. Take the listing, but only if the homeowner agrees to put the request in writing for the broker's protection. The correct answer is C. Even if the homeowner has the exemption, in this case, the owner of a single-family home who doesn't own more than 3 units, a real estate agent may not be used. Real estate agents are always held to higher standards when it comes to fair housing issues. Number 19. The First Bank of Main Street refuses to grant loans within a 10-block area of its offices because of declining property values. This practice is A. Redlining and illegal. B. Redlining and legal. C. Redlining and usually illegal except where values are declining. D. Legal in any other part of the town except in the immediate area of the bank. The correct answer is A. Redlining, which is discrimination in the lending of mortgage money based on location, is always illegal. Number 20. A term used to describe land, improvements, and all the rights associated with ownership is A. Land. B. Personal property. C. Real estate. D. Real property. The correct answer is D. Land is the physical dirt. Real estate is the dirt and structures attached to it. Real property is the land, everything attached to it, and the rights associated with owning it. Personal property includes tangible, movable, portable things that aren't real estate.